we're still focused on the offensive side of the ball. We did a couple of situations, just like we talked about doing in the game, execute on the stretch, going back to detail in our work.
Played together before, on the defensive end. You have some veterans out there. How helpful is it for the two rookies, Anthony and Jet, to be able to lean on those guys as they go through these end-of-game situations?
No, it's absolutely perfect for those guys, 'cause again, these guys are on the court, they feel what's happening, and, between Joe, J.I., and Gary, they've been in these situations and scenarios, so they can speak to certain ways in which you want to guard something. We watch it on film a ton, we watch it with them a ton, but these guys real time are feeling those situations.
So what are your early impressions of the way the offense is working? Maybe any changes to the offense this year, just early on?
Well, I think there's some tweaks, we'll make, because we talk about wanting to be able to finish at the rim, get to the rim, get to the free throw line, all those pieces. So a couple little tweaks when it comes to using our size, to our advantage. But the other side of it is the defense is going to be way ahead of the offense early because we're stressing it so much in these first practices, and the guys have bought into that. I mean, for them fighting for who wants to be on defense first, that's very rare in a practice.
A lot of players talk about Arnie on media day. What are your thoughts on how he's changed the team and added to the culture?
Well, Arnie, just brings a different element. He's done it, for so many years. His time in Detroit, his time with other teams. So, the whole performance staff has done a great job. Just making sure that they're caring for these guys, that they're understanding what these guys' needs are, and making sure that we're trying to make sure we keep the guys on the court.
How much, obviously we've talked a lot about the continuity on this team, but how much do you lean on what you saw from this group last year as opposed to maybe trying to build something new or add new elements to this team that maybe you didn't have the time to add last year with all the injuries and everything else?
Well, no, Philip, I think that's a very great question in the sense that these guys have bought in over the summer, right? So a lot of it is not necessarily what I'm coming out saying right away because I don't have to say it. They've talked this summer about the things that they want to do, what they want to accomplish, how hard they want to compete. And, the word that we used today was about service, right? Like, how do I serve my teammate, not make it about myself, but make it about the guy next to me. That way I can hold you accountable and it's about me trying to lift you up versus it me about, focusing on myself.
With Jalen, we talked to him at media day, and he seemed very refreshed. He talked about his faith and some things he's doing off the court. He stayed in Orlando much of the summer. What have you noticed from him maybe differently this summer that's got him kind of refreshed and ready to go?
I think his resolve for a lot of things. He's very steady in the way he's approaching things. He's not getting too high. He's not getting too low. He's accepting things as they come. Whether that's if he's on the court and he turns the basketball over, he's understanding how to move on to the next play. Or if he hits a big time shot, there's nothing behind it. It's just, this is the process of the work that I've put in, so I don't need to celebrate it or I don't need to get too down about it. I just focus on the process of what I'm trying to accomplish, and he's done a fantastic job of that throughout the summer and up until this point.
Hey Jamal, last year's theme was level up. Mm-hmm. What are you thinking about this year? I know you mentioned compete for your spots, but what are you thinking the theme is going to be this year?
I think you missed one compete on there, but I probably said it like 7 times. But the thing with this group is that we have to detail our work. We have to go into it understanding the situation, the scenarios we're going to be in, and that's part of the fundamentals. So we want to be a team that does not beat themselves, right? If the teams that walk in here, they're going to have to take it from us versus us giving those games away. And that comes in the form of as simple as a free throw line blockout, right? Like a one extra pass on offense. Those little things are the difference makers in the games that we win or lose.
I know it's just 2 days, couple of practices. Are you seeing those details start to get filled in? Are you seeing this team more focused on those little things that maybe they missed last year because of their inexperience or whatever? Are you seeing that focus play out?
Well, to your earlier point about the continuity, a lot of those things are cleaned up and we can get to them on day 2 versus getting to them on day 5. Right, so now we can go into the end of game scenario. We can go into how we want to switch at the end of game or not switch, if we're fouling or not fouling. I think we can recognize that on day 2 versus you have to push into games and film throughout camp in order to get there.
Coach, how much of an emphasis was physicality and toughness kind of over the offseason and just building upon that as opposed to last season?
Well, I think us being able to get on the floor together for camp. I think we're focusing on that a ton. How can we be a more physical, dominant team? I mean, we have the size, we have the length, we have the strength with a lot of these guys that we can use that to our advantage.
It's been about 3 months since summer league. Can you already kind of tell the progress that Anthony Black and Jet Howard are making since that time?
Well, I think yes. To answer that in the short version, yes, because they're comfortable being uncomfortable, and they're willing question askers. And so what they've done is they've asked these veterans, like, what do I need to do? What do I need to see? And then they're standing back and observing, which is great for young guys to be able to do.
You mentioned some of the physicality. Is everyone making it through okay these first few practices? I know they've been working out here for a while. Is everyone still going strong?
There's going to be sore, which is what you want, but everybody's making it through. Yes. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you guys.